Good evening to all. Today we will discuss very important topic uh, that is nothing but a endocrine system. So it is very important because it is a coordinating system in the body. Actually, nervous system in human body or in all living things, it is very important one because the nervous system can controls and regulates and everything, all systems in human body. But endocrine system can coordinates to all the systems in the human body. So but before going to discuss about the endocrine system, first we should know about the gland. So what is meant by gland? So actually gland is a group of cells, or it is a sac like structure which are present in the body. So the gland in the sense, it is able to secrete a chemical substances. So on the basis of that chemical substances and also on the basis of the structure of the glands, they are classified into two categories. They are the exocrine glands and endocrine glands. So actually exocrine in the sense, the glands which which are having the duct or pipe like structure, that glands are known as the exocrine glands. Whereas in the endocrine glands means the glands doesn't have any duct or pipe, but these glands can secrete the chemical substances. They can directly release it into the bloodstream. So that's why the action will be very quick, because the endocrine glands can secrete their secretions and releases their secretions directly into the bloodstream. That's why the blood can be circulated to all parts of the body very quickly. That's why the action also very quickly. So but whereas in the case of exocrine glands, so the in exocrine glands can secrete their chemical substances. They can pass through a duct or pipe, but they can reach their target tissues or any structures. It will take some time, and also the action will be slow. Okay, but now, for example, exocrine, what are the examples for exocrine glands? So in human digestive system, in also cutaneous system, that means skin, in that is in digestive system, we are able to find out so many exocrine glands. For example, in buccal cavity we are able to find out salivary glands, and also gastric glands in the stomach, intestinal glands in the intestine, and another one is the liver is also gland. It is also exocrine gland. So like that. And also, whereas in the skin also we are able to find two types of glands. They are the sweat glands and sebaceous glands. These are considered as a exocrine glands, and they can release their chemical substances known as the enzymes. So the enzymes are always secreted by the exocrine glands. Okay, these enzymes act as a biocatalysts in metabolic reactions of the human body. So metabolic reactions in the sense, there will be a anabolic and catabolic reactions are going on continuously in the cells. So in that cells, these enzymes act as a catalyst in the sense, they can speed up the chemical reaction, but they cannot involve in the chemical reaction. They are the biocatalysts. So enzymes are the biocatalysts. Okay, for example, in human digestive system, the digestion process is going on. So digestion process is nothing but a, in digestive system, the complex molecules are converted into the simple molecules in the presence of the enzymes. Okay, that is nothing but a catabolism can be takes place in the digestive system. So that is the importance of the exocrine glands. So exocrine glands can produce secretes enzymes. Okay, that is about the exocrine. But now in this topic we have to discuss the endocrine glands or endocrine system. It is very very important because it is a coordinating system. So it is also under the control of the nervous system, but it coordinates all other systems in the human body. Now what are the endocrine glands? So the endocrine glands are main endocrine glands. We know very well that. So the pituitary gland is the endocrine. See, and thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, exocrine part of the pancreas, adrenal gland. So these are the endocrine glands. So endocrine cells also present here and there in the body. In digestive system, for example, in digestive system, especially in the stomach, there will be a presence of the gastrin hormone. That hormone is secreted by the endocrine cells present in the stomach. So like that, several endocrine cells are also present in the human body. Now we'll discuss about the endocrine glands. That is, first one is pituitary gland. So pituitary gland is present in the brain, in the hypophyseal region of the brain, hypothalamus, near the hypothalamus. Now this pituitary gland is, it is a very small gland, but it takes a very important role in the body because it is a very small one, but it coordinates and it controls all other endocrine glands in the human body. Hence it is also known as the master of endocrine system. What we can say, the pituitary gland is a master gland in the endocrine system because it controls all other endocrine glands in the human body. But now this pituitary gland, it is located in the hypophyseal region, already I told. Now this pituitary gland, it is a very small, it is like a chickpea shaped, very small one, and it is internally, it is made by the three lobes. They are the anterior lobe, posterior lobe, and intermediate lobe. Okay, so structurally the pituitary gland is made by three lobes: anterior lobe, posterior lobe, and intermediate lobe. Now the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland can secrete the several important hormones. Okay, they are, first one, somatotrophic hormone or growth hormone. Okay, somato means growth. Actually the growth of the cells or growth of the tissues or organs, entirely body, the growth is completely depends upon the growth hormone. Okay, so that's why somato means growth. Okay, because that hormone can stimulates the growth of the body, hence it is known as the somatotrophic hormone or growth hormone. Okay, so this growth hormone generally can stimulates the cells to undergo the mitotic cell division, hence the growth can be takes place. So that mainly the growth hormone act on the skeletal muscles and also bones. So whenever it can stimulates the mitotic region in the bones, so that the bones can grow. So that means in entire human body, the cells, growth of the cells are always depends upon the growth hormone. So actually this hormone very beneficial, but sometimes see the abnormal secretion of this growth hormone also leads to the some diseases. For example, in children, if the growth hormone is secreted very less, that means that is the less than the optimum, so that leads to the one condition known as the dwarfism. Dwarfism is nothing but a stunted growth. So the growth does not take place if this hormone is not secreted properly. So that's why If the growth hormone is secreted in less quantity, that leads to the dwarfism in children. But if this growth hormone is secreted more than the optimum, that leads to the another disease known as the gigantism in children. So that means it indicates that if the growth hormone is secreted in limited or optimum quantity or required quantity, at that time only normal growth can be takes place. If it is secreted less or more, leads to the, that is abnormal secretion, leads to the, already I told, the diseases, that is the dwarfism in children due to lack of that hormone. And another one is the gigantism, that is the overgrowth is nothing but a gigantism condition. We are able to find out this abnormal secretion of the growth hormone. That is about the growth hormone. And another hormone, the anterior lobe of the pituitary can secrete the another hormone, is the thyroid stimulating hormone. So the thyroid gland in human body or in other highly developed animals, so that thyroid gland secretions always under the control of the anterior pituitary, because the anterior lobe of the pituitary can secretes the this thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, ఇది, if the over secretion of the thyroid stimulating hormone leads to the hyper secretion of the thyroid hormones, that means the hormones are always secreted by the negative feedback mechanism. So this feedback mechanism only can controls the regular or proper or optimum secretion of the hormones. Okay, now that is the thyroid stimulating hormone. And the third one is the adrenocorticotropic hormone. So this adrenocorticotropic hormone can stimulates the adrenal gland to secretes the adrenal gland hormones. Okay, it is, that means it indicates the anterior lobe of the pituitary can secretes the several hormones, that is the growth hormone and thyroid stimulating hormone and adrenocorticotropic hormone. And another one is the follicle stimulating hormones. So these are the hormones secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary. And one more, the posterior lobe of the pituitary also secretes the several hormones. There are several, but important hormones are the antidiuretic hormone, that is also known as the vasopressin. And another one is the another hormone, prolactin hormone. So now antidiuretic hormone, actually antidiuretic hormone in this sense, that is the opposite to the urine. So hyper secretion of the urine can be controlled by the antidiuretic hormone. This is also known as the vasopressin hormone. Okay, this is the secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary. And another one is the prolactin hormone. Prolactin hormone generally secreted by the anterior lobe only, but another one is the posterior lobe can secrete is the oxytocin hormone. This oxytocin hormone is very, very important one in females. So this oxytocin can stimulates the smooth muscles in the uterus. That's why the uterine contractions can be takes place with the help of the oxytocin. So we know very well that during delivery of the pregnant mother, so the oxytocin hormone can be okay, can stimulate the contraction of the, that is the uterine muscles for easy labor pain. So that means oxytocin injection also will be given to the that is pregnant mother during delivery process, because they can stimulate the contraction of the uterine muscles. That is about the oxytocin hormone. So and already I told the middle lobe or intermediate lobe of the pituitary, that is nothing but a it is also known as the pars intermedia. So these middle lobe or intermediate lobe of the pituitary can secretes the melanocytic melanocytic stimulating hormone. That means this hormone can stimulates the melanocytes of the skin for the formation of the melanin pigment. So that means the pigmentation of the melanin, or that means the formation of the melanin in the skin with the help of the melanocyte stimulating hormone. So like that, these hormones takes a very important role in the human metabolism. So these are the hormones secreted by the pituitary lobe. And we'll goes to the another gland, that is known as the thyroid gland. Okay, the thyroid gland, it is the largest endocrine gland in the body. It is located in the neck region. It is made by the two lobes. Okay, these two lobes are connected by a septum like structure known as the isthmus. Okay, so these thyroid gland is made by the number of that is follicular cells. Okay, these cells can secrete the several hormones. Generally the important hormones are secreted by the thyroid gland are, that is T3 and T4. T3 means triiodothyronine. Triiodothyronine. So that is the T3 hormone, and another one is the T4, tetraiodothyronine. This is also known as the thyroxine hormone. Generally we are calling as thyroxine hormone. These two hormones are very important for the maintenance of the metabolism in the body. So that's why these two hormones are secreted by the thyroid gland. Okay, what is the importance of this thyroxine hormones? So thyroxine hormones can stimulates the normal growth of the body and also normal metabolism of the body. So metabolism in the sense, we know very well in human body, that is continuously number of biochemical reactions are takes place. Now itself in our body, that is so many chemical reactions are going on. These chemical reactions are nothing but a metabolic reactions, that is briefly known as the metabolism. This metabolism includes anabolism and catabolism. So anabolism in the sense, that is growth, that is conversion of simple molecules to the complex molecules is nothing but a anabolism, and opposite to the anabolism is the catabolism. Catabolism is nothing but a breakdown of the complex molecules into the simple molecules, combinedly known as the, that means combinedly means anabolism as well as the catabolism, known as the metabolism. This metabolism generally can be takes place with the help of the thyroxine hormones. Okay, these thyroxine hormones can stimulates the almost all growth in the cells or tissues or organs. Okay, so the heart rate and everything, the muscle development and everything is under the control of the thyroxine hormones. That's why we are giving the more priority to the thyroxine hormones. Okay, sometimes in few members, this we know very well any hormone in the body, if it is secreted in optimum quantity, that becomes the normal stasis, or can be takes place homeostasis. What we can say, homeostasis, that is equilibrium can be takes place if these hormones are secreted in a optimum quantity. Please remember that optimum required quantity of the hormones want to be secreted in the body. that leads to the normal growth and development. If these hormones are secreted more than the optimum or less than the optimum, leads to the abnormal secretions, and that leads to the several diseases. Okay, now that's why this in few members already, I want to discuss that in few members the thyroxine hormone is secreted more than the optimum. That is the hyper secretion of the thyroxine hormone is known as nothing but a hyperthyroidism or hyperthyroid condition. So this is the abnormal metabolic disorder. So hyperthyroidism, what are the symptoms we are able to find out in the hyperthyroidism? So generally in hyperthyroidism we can see loss of weight, and heart rate will be increased, and somewhat the metabolic rate is very high in them. Okay, so that is the hyperthyroidism. In few members the thyroxine hormone are secreted in less than the optimum, that is the hyposecretion, that is nothing but a hypothyroidism leads to the weight gain and everything, the metabolic rate is slows down in them. Okay, so that is the hyper and hypothyroidism. Okay, in addition to that, this high thyroid gland internally, already I told the thyroid gland is made by the two lobes. Okay, so two lobes in the sense, four corners are present. In that four corners we are able to find, that is the parathyroid glands. Parathyroid, that means the endocrine glands which are present in the thyroid gland itself, hence they are known as the parathyroid glands. So that parathyroid glands can secrete the parathormone. Okay, this parathormone also takes a very important role in the, that is the calcium reabsorption maintenance, so that that can be regulates the calcium levels. Okay, in addition to this parathormone, and calcitonin also can regulate the calcium levels in the body. So that is about the thyroid gland. And one more gland I have to discuss today, that is very very important, the exocrine part of the pancreas. It is a very very important one. That is because nowadays the people are majority of the people are suffering from the one metabolic disorder, that is nothing but a diabetes mellitus. Okay, that's why, so to know the, that is a complete history of the diabetes mellitus, first we have to know the endocrine part of the pancreas. So actually the pancreas is present in the digestive system, but it is a dual gland in the sense, the 90% of the pancreatic part act as a exocrine, and remaining 10% of the pancreas act as a endocrine gland. So the exocrine part of the pancreas very very important in the endocrine system, because pancreas act as a dual gland, that means which can secrete the that is enzymes as well as the hormones. Hence it is because the pancreas contains the exocrine part as well as the endocrine part. The exocrine part of the pancreas can produce the pancreatic juice which contains the enzymes, pancreatic enzymes. But the endocrine part of the pancreas can produce the several hormones. Generally, the endocrine part of the pancreas is made by the two types of cells. They are the alpha cells and beta cells. Okay, the beta cells of the endocrine part of the pancreas can produce the insulin hormone. It is made by the protein, that is the insulin hormone. Okay, and another type of cells, alpha cells of the endocrine part of pancreas can secrete the glucagon hormone. So that means the endocrine part of the pancreas can secrete the, okay, two hormones. They are the insulin and glucagon hormone. So the endocrine part, that means the beta cells can secrete the insulin and alpha cells can secrete the glucagon. Now comes to the insulin hormone. So actually insulin is made by the structural it is made by the proteins. Okay, polypeptide chains. Now what is the importance of the insulin? So we know very well, generally in human body for every cell requires the energy. Okay, for every cell requires the energy. That means any cell or any tissue or any organ, anyone requires the energy. So this energy is produced with the help of the oxygen and glucose. Oxygen and glucose, we know very well, during the digestion process we are able to get the glucose, and also another, during respiration we are able to get the oxygen. So that means during digestion we are able to get the glucose, during respiration we are able to get the oxygen. So this glucose and oxygen can combine together and forms a energy. Energy is nothing but a ATP. Okay, in any cell or in any tissue, this internal respiration can be takes place. That means breakdown of the glucose can be takes place. Okay, so breakdown of glucose, due to the breakdown of glucose, ATP or energy is released. Okay, this is the normal process is going on in the cells. Generally the main function of insulin hormone is to maintain the glucose levels. Suppose in human body that more number of glucose molecules are present in the cells or tissues. So that means more than the required number of glucose molecules are formed in the cells or tissues, that leads to the diabetic condition. That is nothing but a diabetes mellitus. That means more number of glucose molecules are accumulated in the cells or tissues. So that's why the cells are unable to take the glucose, because that means more accumulation of the glucose around the cell is unable to absorb the glucose molecules. That condition is nothing but a diabetes mellitus. Okay, but the duty or the function of the insulin hormone is to convert the excessive glucose. That glucose is nothing but a dissolvable compound. It is a dissolvable compound in the water. So generally the glucose is dissolved in the water. Okay, that is the dissolvable glucose. This dissolvable glucose is converted into the glycogen in the liver with the help of the insulin. So that means insulin can take a vital role for the control of the glucose molecules in the bloodstream. That means if the excess amount of glucose is present in the bloodstream or cells, that excessive glucose molecules are converted into the glycogen. That means simply I can say that is dissolvable glucose is converted into the undissolvable glycogen. That is the duty of the insulin hormone. Generally this insulin hormone is secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas. Okay, whenever due to the lifestyle or stress or so many other conditions, the glucose level is increased in the bloodstream or in the body. Okay, the required quantity of the insulin is unable to secrete in the beta cells of the exocrine part of the pancreas. That means deficiency of the insulin can leads to the diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is nothing but increasing the level of the glucose molecules in the bloodstream. That means more and more glucose molecules are formed in the liver from the digestive system, there will be a glucose level is increased in the bloodstream. So that leads to the, so why, so actually the we are able to get so many doubt here, so many people can get doubt here. So for every cell glucose is needed, but why, what happened if the glucose molecules increase means we are able to get the more and more energy, but why we are able to get the disease condition, that is diabetes mellitus? Because for example, so each cell is able to take the required quantity of the glucose molecules, but if the more and more and more and glucose molecules are accumulated around the cell, at that time the cell is unable to take the glucose molecules, because the glucose molecules are, that is collateral, that means that is bombarding around the cell. That's why the cell is unable to take the required quantities of the glucose molecules. That means every cell needs the optimum quantity of the glucose. At the time only the cell can take the glucose, but more and more accumulated around the cell means the cell is unable to take that glucose molecules. That is nothing but diabetes mellitus. Okay, that means diabetic is not a disease, it is a metabolic disorder. It is a metabolic disorder. That means metabolic disorder means the metabolic reactions will be altered due to this, that is improper secretion of the insulin hormone. That's why, so during diabetic condition, that means diabetic patients, they have to take the, that is the required or low amount of the glycemic, that is the glycemic index, what we can say, the food item or any food item contains the glucose molecules, how many glucose molecules are released per second, that is nothing but a glycemic index. So if the food items having the less glycemic index, that food items want to be taken by the diabetic patients. So that is the regarding the diabetic mellitus and role of the insulin in this. Okay, in this diabetic mellitus is generally categorized into two types. They are the insulin dependent diabetes and non insulin dependent diabetes. Okay, insulin dependent diabetes means, so the beta cells in the endocrine part of pancreas is completely damaged. They are nothing to secrete the insulin, they are unable to secrete, zero secretion. So in them, that disease condition is the insulin dependent diabetes. Insulin dependent means completely insulin cannot be secreted in the beta cells. Okay, so in them we have to give the insulin injections for them. And second one is non insulin dependent, that means type 1 type 2 diabetes. What we can say briefly, insulin dependent is the type 1, non insulin dependent is the type 2. So almost all in this in the public generally, a majority of the people having the, that is the type 2 diabetic. So in them, so beta cells are present in the endocrine part of pancreas, but that beta cells are not secreting the required quantity of the insulin. Few cells are, beta cells are damaged. Okay, that's why we are taking the oral anti-diabetic drugs, so that oral anti-diabetic drugs can stimulates the, some drugs can stimulates the beta cells, okay, to secretes the insulin hormone. So that is the regarding insulin. And already I discussed one more hormone in the that exocrine part, endocrine part of pancreas, that is the alpha cells can secretes the, alpha cells can secretes the glucagon. So the glucagon hormone function is, that is contrast to the insulin. So in insulin, that means the insulin can convert the soluble glucose into the insoluble glycogen. That is the main function of the insulin. Whereas in the glucagon, opposite means, that is undissolvable glycogen can be converted to the soluble glucose, opposite. That means insulin can convert the glucose into the glycogen, whereas in the glucagon is opposite, means it is converting glycogen to the glucose. Okay, so that means there is no problem of the glucagon nowadays, only the problem is regarding insulin only. Okay, so that is insulin not secreted properly due to the damage of the, okay, or due to the overload fall on the beta cells of the endocrine part of pancreas. That is regarding the endocrine part of pancreas. And one more endocrine glands we have to discuss, that is the adrenal gland. I think you know very well, human in human body a pair of okay kidneys are present just above the upper polar region of the kidneys. We are able to find the two types of glands are the adrenal glands. Okay, these adrenal glands, a pair of adrenal glands are present. These adrenal glands structurally made by the two zones, they are the cortex and medulla. Okay, the cortex of the adrenal gland can secretes the corticosteroids. That means adrenocorticosteroids. Okay, that hormones are secreted generally, and medulla of the adrenal gland can secretes the medulla of the adrenal gland can secretes the adrenaline, noradrenaline hormones. So this is the these are the hormones secreted by the adrenal gland. Okay, that corticosteroids, I think we know very well, the corticosteroids takes an important role in the metabolism, because they can speed up the activities of the metabolism. So that is the corticosteroids. So this that means excitement of the body or angriness and everything is under the control of these hormones. So like that, the several endocrine glands can secretes the several types of the hormones. These hormones are the chemical messengers of the body, because these hormones only can regulate the all other systems of the body. That's why we are giving more and more and more priority to the endocrine system. Okay, this video is logging, so hence I am now concluding that so the endocrine system, okay, endocrine system is a coordinating system in the human body, because it is under the control of the nervous system only, but can regulates and controls the all other systems like digestive system, respiratory system, and other skeletal system. Every system in human body is under the control of the nervous system, but the endocrine system can coordinate the all activities and all systems in the body. Okay, thank you.